He does, in fact, have something to say about weather patterns, if you can believe it, about natural phenomena. He does have something to say about a violent turn for the worse in the weather. Verse 6, it says, "And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. For nation," verse 7 continues, "shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in different places," as it should read. Earthquakes in different places. So notice, in addition to the wars and the rumors of wars, which is surely an apt description of the days we're living in today, Jesus also said there would be an uptick in natural disasters. There'd be more of them in these latter days. Look at Luke 21:11 on your own time. In that passage, it's the companion passage here, or Luke's version of what we're reading here in the Olivet prophecy. It says, "And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places," or different places, "and famines and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven." Fearful sights, great signs from heaven. Christ said it would happen. Christians must expect it to happen if we're believers. Now, is it God's will that these things play out? Is it God's will that there's scenes of devastation in places like Joplin? Depends on how you look at it. Of course, it's not that man has to suffer in this way. But if man rejects God's message, if we turn from God, then that's another matter. God will do what is necessary to awaken us, to help us turn to Him. You might have seen the gut-wrenching video. It's not really even a video, it's just the audio track of these people that were huddled down inside of a convenience store as this monster tornado was ripping apart the town above. And these people inside this freezer crying out to God, crying out to Jesus, declaring their love for each other. It was gut-wrenching to hear it. It brought tears to my eyes to think about the suffering. But why must it take something like that for us to really make a heartfelt, sincere appeal to God? You can see the impact that something that devastating has on people. I mean, the reaction, the spontaneous reaction, was actually a good one. We should be praying that way every day, even when it's beautiful and sunny like it is here today. God is our provider. God controls the weather. It's ridiculous to think that He can't control it. I mean, who is He after all? Jesus said here that there would be famine or a shortage of food and water, pestilences or disease epidemics, in other words, would accompany these events. Just recently, my father on the Key of David program, he talked about how that this word famines needs to be examined not only in the context of the wars that we see in our world, but also in the context of these natural disasters and the famines that set in because of them. The shortages of foods and such, the scarcity of supplies. I mean, natural disasters causes that too. That was just on the Key of David. Recently, hold your place here, look at Isaiah chapter 3. We're seeing droughts and floods and hurricanes and tornadoes on a scale like never before, and what a tremendous impact this is having on food production, on the cost of food and fuel. Famines can certainly mean a scarcity of the harvest. Isaiah 3 and verse 1 says, "For behold, the Lord of hosts, takes away from Jerusalem or Israel. It's a type of all of Israel. And from Judah, the stock and the store. This is in the New King James Version. The whole supply of bread and the whole supply of water. Why would God take away these supplies? Well, it's to try to wake us up. To try to wake up this world. To try to get us to open our eyes and to see what's happening all around us. Back to Matthew 24. You can also look at Hosea 2, verses 8 through 9 on your own time. God has some things to say over there about the loss of supplies, taking away the corn, as it says in Hosea. We should expect weather disasters to cause famines. That's what Jesus told us to look out for. Here again, Matthew 24, verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, for nations shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in different places. Now Christ here also refers to pestilences, which means, again, those diseases that follow in the wake of these disastrous events. But as my father's also brought out, if you look into that word pestilence, over in Acts 24:5, I think it is, where it's referring to a pestilent fellow, he also says that this needs to be connected not just with disease specifically, but with the social disease, the social turmoil that can erupt also after disasters. Social unrest, in other words. Social breakdown, societal breakdown as a result of these events. I mean, these are the days that we're living in. Weather disasters, as they increase in frequency and intensity, is actually a fulfillment of Bible prophecy. Jesus had something to say about it. People can scoff, people can laugh if they want to. People can say God has no position on this, that they just happen and we don't know why. Imagine telling someone that. If they say, why is God allowing this suffering? Why did this tornado happen? Why these hurricanes? And a preacher, a representative of Christ, supposedly saying, well, we just don't know. We don't know why these things happen. We do know why. Jesus told us why they're happening. And all we have to do is believe Christ. Are we going to ignore Christ's words like so many religious leaders do today? Is that what you'll do? You can't do it. You can't do that. I mean, these are among the signs that Jesus gave. We're experiencing right now the outer edges of a storm that is soon to sweep right across every corner of this earth. As I said, it's really a gross exaggeration to compare what is going to happen from the hill of Megiddo all the way through down to Jerusalem to a little small tornado. And even these tornadoes, I mean, it's going to get worse. Sadly, it's going to get worse. That's the truth. Look at verse 8 here in Matthew 24. It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. It's just the beginning. Now you compare that, students, with what so many ministers are saying today, or not saying. Compare that with what they're ignoring today. Jesus said this is just the beginning. And then he goes on and gives us so many other details that we don't have time here to cover. It's just the beginning of sorrows. This is where we are in prophecy. We're at the beginning point of this most sorrowful time. And that's what we have to proclaim. That's what the Trumpet Daily, that's what the Key of David, that's what the Trumpet.com has to proclaim. God isn't getting some kind of sick pleasure out of seeing people suffer. He said through the prophet Ezekiel, why will you die, Israel? Why? When we could just turn to God in repentance. These intensifying disasters are not God's fault. That's the point. It's not God's fault. We've brought it upon ourselves. But the exciting thing here is, Christ is giving us a picture of a woman that's about to give birth. He inspired that imagery elsewhere in the Bible, Isaiah and others. Birth pangs right before the birth of a new age. It's amazing, isn't it? That even when you have a period of tumult, thunder and lightning, several inches of rain, tornadoes ripping right through even this very community, and us hunkering down in the basement, and then going back to our houses as soon as the storm passes, getting a good night of sleep, and then we awaken to a day like today, which is so beautiful, and you never, ever could have imagined there were tornadoes just ripping through this same area. That's the way it's going to be once Jesus Christ returns and finally puts down this rebellious spirit and ushers in a new and better age. The Bible teaches that not only is nature the creation of God's mind, it is, in fact, a vital instrument through which He communicates with mankind. The disasters we see increasing are, in fact, a tool that the Creator of the natural world has reserved for Himself to use in order to speak with us. Severe natural phenomena are impossible to ignore. Yet for most people, even as our planet is coming apart, the message is still not resonating. The question is, are you prepared to listen? If so, go to the phone and request this new booklet, Why Natural Disasters. As you learned on today's program, Jesus Christ listed nature-related disasters as being a sign of His imminent return. Request the free booklet, Why Natural Disasters, so that you can discern the signs of the times. Just call the number on your screen and ask for Why Natural Disasters. You can also download this booklet online right now at thetrumpetdaily.com. Also available at the website today is this reprint, Are We Living in the Last Days? If you'd like a hard copy, we'll send you this for free as well, along with the new booklet. Just call the number on your screen and ask for Why Natural Disasters and Are We Living in the Last Days? All of our literature is free and will be sent to you at no cost or obligation. Just pick up the phone and make that free call or log on to thetrumpetdaily.com. If you missed any part of today's program, you can watch it again in its entirety on the website. Also remember to visit thetrumpet.com. Every day, the Trumpet helps you properly understand the events of this world under the clear light of Bible prophecy. Again, that's thetrumpet.com. Thank you for watching today's program. We'll see you again tomorrow morning.